I'm just kidding. If you're listening, I love you, and you're not the ones who need to suck it. It's the people who suck. Like, I showed up in my pajamas with my makeup from last night just running down my face, but you know what? My child was ready.
Right?
He was ready, and he looked adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And then I gave him to his grandparents and said, I'm going to go get ready. Thank you. Bye-bye. That I have, it's like the cover girl. What are you doing?
What?
My camera went out for a second. Sorry, I was talking to the camera. God, I really was not expecting to like break down today. Holy fucking shit. They're cutting funding on everything. Like, it just, I think I talked about like the boulder analogy where it feels like as an activist, I'm standing in front of a fucking boulder that is 50,000 times my weight, and I'm just trying to fucking push it, and it does not give a shit. It's a blue world.
Loosen up. Hi, and welcome to the 8th episode of Talk About Traumatized podcast. Just to go into a little bit of a trigger warning, we do talk about heavy subjects. We talk about sexual assault and rape. We talk about suicidal ideation, domestic violence, all sorts of abusive situations. Not to say that that's going to be in every episode, may not even be in this episode, but just in case, if you can't handle those sorts of topics, maybe hop onto another podcast or, get to a safe space where you can safely listen to this. And that is it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, even if you don't stick around.
And you can share it.
And you can share it. Always share it. Sharing is caring.
It is caring. And you can stick around. I mean, you don't have to. I'm not forcing anyone into anything. But we don't, we try to tread the topic not necessarily lightly, but in a manner that makes it not dreadful to listen to, which can't always happen. There's some episodes where we might not be as happy as normal, but I feel like my brain is not in a focus mood yet, and I'm hoping it'll like center itself. But I don't know if it will. Like, I did good. Like, I showered and I was in like the right mindset, but then I think everything looking blue really just
threw you off.
Yeah, it did just throw me off. And I think just like in general, like we had an event super late last night at school, which was awesome and amazing. But then I drive back to my dad's house, and then Josh needs me there by 7. So like I'm up by 6 o'clock. I'm there at 7, and then I drove straight to my mom's house. So I just spent like the first 2 hours of my day in the car. And like I showed up in my pajamas with my makeup from last night just running down my face, but you know what? My child was ready. Right? He was ready, and he looked adorable. And then I gave him to his grandparents and said, I'm gonna go get ready. Thank you. Bye. And it went just like that. I said, I'm not in charge anymore. Peace out. Bye. And that felt really good. My mom's shower was vicious. I never showered in the basement shower. But it's just one of those shower heads that, like, is hard.
Like the water pressure?
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. The water pressure is incredibly hard. I was like, ooh. And normally I like the hard water pressure, but it was, like, so hard. I was like, I think I'm ready to get out.
Yeah.
It started to not feel good.
It's borderline, where you're like, oh, this is amazing. And then you're like, wait, this actually kind of hurts.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was kind of... I don't know, it wasn't bad, but it was also one of those, like, smaller stand showers, and I was kind of excited about it at first, but then I was like, oh my god, I have no room to move.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got ready, and literally since the last episode we filmed, like 2 weeks ago, my makeup bag has been missing. I got ready that morning, and I've cleaned out my car. It's not there. I've looked everywhere at Josh's house. It's not there. I've looked everywhere at my dad's house, and it's not there, which are the only places it could be. But the last place I got ready was at Josh's house, but
Yeah.
he searched the place up and down. I've searched the place up and down.
Uh-huh.
And it's just really getting to the point where it's starting to piss me off. Because, like, today, so since then, I've bought, like, new makeup, but I'm not trying to buy, like, nice fucking makeup because my makeup bag is somewhere. But, like, I got ready and I'm just, like, looking at myself and I'm like, I feel like I look like shit. And I don't, like, look like shit, but it's just, like, not the same. Yeah, like, my literal, like, my face makeup. It's not, I have the same exact eyebrow and the same exact mascara, but that's because I buy the cheapest shit of that anyway. And I love it. It's the best shit I've used. But, like, I really, really do not like this foundation. Yeah, it's some, like, CoverGirl, like BB cream type. I don't know. It's pink and whatever, and I just don't like it. And I've been using like the Morphe skin tint or something, and I love it.
Yeah.
And then I decided, because all the cool people on TikTok use like the e.l.f. like contour HD glow and the blush, so I was like, you know what? Let me buy those since I'm buying makeup anyway. I hate them.
Do you?
I hate them. I literally. The problem is I'm very much. I spent a long time like testing out makeup, trying different things, and then when I found the things I liked, they stuck.
Right.
And they stuck because I liked them and I enjoyed the way they look. And I am not like a dewy, glowy person. I want the like powder. I don't know. I like the powder. I like the way it looks. I do not like the way this like looks or feels. So then I went up to my mom's makeup trying to like fix it. The thing about my mom is she's like 20 shades tanner than me. And so like I literally just like pressed her, like just, I didn't even dip it, right? Because I knew I needed to be very timid. That shit was just dark as fuck on my face. And then I'm just like trying to like fucking blend that shit. And long story short, it like looks fine, right? Like I can see myself and I look like myself, but it just... It does not feel right. I don't know where my makeup bag went. I don't know. 2 weeks ago, on top of it, I finally was like, because I went to therapy and I was like, just like having a breakdown. I'm like, I feel like I literally don't have a home. I have nowhere to be.
Right.
Like, nothing is mine.
Yeah.
And she's like, what are the things you can control right now? And I'm like, I can paint the room, but then I'm like, I feel like I need to do the whole house. And she's like, you don't need to do the whole house. Like, just focus on the fucking room.
Yeah.
She didn't say fucking room. That's my interpretation.
Yeah.
So then that day, I'm like, you know what? You're right. Because I literally just need a sense of security. Like, something that feels like mine. I literally, while I'm not living out of a car, I feel like I'm living out of a car. And so I go home and I get all of the room cleared out. I wipe down baseboards, walls, all this shit. I had gone to Lowe's before with my primer paint because we had already had it. And I asked them to shake it. I carried this 5-gallon fucking whatever of primer paint up these 2 stairs. And I open it up and I'm like ready to pour that shit in and realize that shit's like a solid fucking brick in there. And yeah, I don't know. The paint is just messed up.
Yeah.
And then I also just need to be smart about my money. So I was like, I'm not about to go buy primer paint right now, and I need to make sure I have gas money for the next 2 fucking weeks. Because my paycheck before was less because I had missed some days of work. I don't even remember what for. And so I've just been living out of a cleaned out room.
Yeah.
With like paint rollers around me. My plan is on Monday to actually go buy the primer paint because I've since had a payday and I can get primer paint. And I have the paint for the walls, but I need to prime the walls because the room is like this Cars themed bedroom, so it's bright fucking red and blue on bottom, and it literally is making me so fucking depressed every time I walk in the fucking door. Not to mention, it's been quite literally over a year since I've had a room. Because the house flooded a week after the semester ended last year. And we lived in a hotel for months. And then we got into the house. And then just like, it just never got done. And I frankly feel like I'm losing my fucking mind because I've not had a room that felt like mine since we had the house in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and you.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows me knows that that is not what makes me feel good. I really like, right when I first moved to Florida, I do what I've always done, which is unpack my shit and make my room because that makes me feel okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know that's such a long tangent, but it's really just like life is kicking my fucking ass out here.
It makes sense, though. I mean, it brings you a sense of comfort to be surrounded by your own things.
It's been so long. All my shit's been in boxes now for over a year. Or
Yeah.
almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's too fucking long.
Yeah.
I don't. I feel angry about it because I don't think I'm in any other mood but to feel angry. So, how are you doing, Tiffany?
I'm okay. Things have really kind of just been the same. I made some progress with starting to get up early every day, and then that just sort of went out the window this last week. Okay, so I don't know. I talked to you about it a few times, but this eclipse energy just felt like it was very fucking intense. And the animals were all acting crazy, and I just felt like really out of sorts, and so it was really hard for me to fucking keep on track with things and like keep going with things, and so sort of just been giving myself a break this week. But tomorrow and this coming week, like I'm trying to get back on track with things, like with getting up early so I can get a workout in or something, and it's just sort of a lot. But it's going, or it's going to be going. That makes sense.
It does make sense, but I just don't fucking know. I'm with you. I was doing so good. I think I was on like week 6 of training for a 5K. And since I moved in with my dad, I have not worked out once.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I cannot get a grip on anything right now. And then just like the school semester, I'm passing all my classes. It's not even that, which last week, with everything that happened, I didn't get my homework done last week. And I had emailed my teacher about it, and he did not answer my email. So I literally thought he just didn't frankly give a fuck. But he emailed me back actually yesterday and said he reopened all the things for me. So I have till Sunday to get them done for 100%.
Good.
And then next Sunday to get them done for 50% at least. Yeah, no, I was really grateful because I was really like, this fucking douchebag, like, really is not going to, like, give me any fucking, like...
Yeah. Wiggle room.
Yeah. And... sorry if you're watching. I don't think you're a douchebag, and I really appreciate you giving me an extension on that.
Yeah.
But which was great because this is the first week too where on Wednesday I got all my homework done for that class instead of Sunday because I just need to spend Wednesdays getting it done. Yeah. I don't know if it's time or if it's like more effort that I need to put in that I just don't have the capacity to. That's going to help me feel adjusted. I don't really frankly know because I just feel so, I don't even want to say burnt out. I don't necessarily feel burnt out. I feel pulled in a million directions at all times.
Yeah.
Like literally a million fucking directions between work, school, this, which is work too, but it's also a side gig, personal passion.
Yeah.
Momming, just everything I feel like is pulling and screaming for my attention, and it's like I feel like I have not been able to find a balance at all, and I don't know where the balance freaking lies. I need to start making more money. Like it's not even want or wiggle room. It's like I actually like need to make more money. Yeah. And I already have that worked out in this where I can keep working in the women's center. Rex already double checked the budget because this semester I'm under work study, whereas if I start working in the summer it's coming out of their budget.
Yeah.
But she's already like opened up and made sure there was the capacity for it. And then she also said, because work study is very specific, so I can only go up to 20 hours, and now I can go up to 40.
Yeah.
And it's still me. I get to set my schedule. So if there's like, right, even if I alternate or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a good gig in the sense that like when there's downtime, I'm encouraged to do my homework. It's like not a
Yeah.
bad thing. That's how I got
Uh-huh.
everything done on Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it's also like, right, I feel like the reason I don't get things done on Wednesday before that is because I'm working on like podcast stuff. I'm working on, it's just so much. And you know what? I really still so truly feel like if I just gave up my fucking phone, I would have the time for all of it. Why I can't just fucking do it? Why I feel like it relaxes me when it does not relax
No.
me, I don't know. But when I want to rest, I think I want my phone. And I just don't know. There's all these things that I just wish I could instantly break. All
Yeah.
these
Mm-hmm.
addictions or coping or whatever you want to call them, because they could be anything. And I know it's not as easy as just breaking them, but like it's so infuriating to know that my life would be better off without my phone. Not without my phone, without social media.
Social media.
Um and yet I don't just get off of it. Like,
No, because, well, it is actually an, sorry, considered an addiction. Like it is. When you good?
sorry, I heard crying. But I didn't know. Okay.
Okay.
Grandma's got
Uh,
it.
Yay, grandma.
Uh-huh. It's almost nap time.
Yeah. Um, so I did not like an in-depth research or whatever. I think it was for just like a discussion post.
Mm-hmm.
But I did read an article about the social media addiction in this country, and it's rampant, and it's because um, it starts off because you can keep in touch with friends or whatever, but it provides that dopamine hit when you get a notification or a message or something like that. So that's why people are always constantly checking it to get that hit where you're like, oh, people like the status, or oh, people shared this, or oh, people did that. And it's a real thing, and it's just like any other addiction or dependency or whatever. It's going to be hard to stop. Trust me, I know, I've tried. But I agree with you. I think that's something that would immensely help with me trying to balance the things in my life if I could just stop that.
Yeah, because then what would I do? Right? In those moments where I'm sitting there chronically
Mm-hmm.
online, all the things I could be getting done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I really, most of the time, I think, do a good job at keeping a pretty positive mindset.
Yeah.
Like, or maybe not mindset, because I struggle with my greater outlook,
Mm-hmm.
I think is a better way
Yeah.
to put it.
Yeah.
And just like lately, I do not feel that whatsoever. And I know it has everything to do with what's going on, but it's
Yeah.
just like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everywhere I turn to look, everyone is struggling. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not a me thing. Like this thing that I feel like I'm currently dealing with, it's like literally like I feel like there's nobody I talk to who is happy or who is content with what they're doing. And it's not just like little tiny things, it's like really big overall grand schemes of their lives. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what do we do with this? Like, because I'm trying to make things better, but then it just feels like this overwhelm of like just horrid shit. Like, I don't even freaking know. And last night was great. So we had Take Back the Night, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the march was fun and stuff, but it was really more fun to like come back, and it was like open mic. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt really good speaking, especially because I think it was the first time where I really like spoke in front of a group of people like with a microphone, and I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't nervous at all. Because if you want to know something I feel really honestly comfortable talking about at this point, it's sexual assault.
Yeah.
And it feels really even more comfortable for me because of what we do and because of how we all met to talk about it in front of people who I
Mm-hmm.
know have been through it.
Yeah.
And so like that part felt great. Like it literally felt great to be up there and talking and doing all these things. and it felt great to see other people. There were like 5 people who went up there, and they were like, I've literally never said this before, but I feel called to talk about it right now. And I think that is so fucking beautiful, because
Mm-hmm.
it was the right kind of place. And all I can think about is like, these people need group, right? They need group because it would help them so much. And then it goes back to that, like, they're cutting funding on everything. Like, it just, I think I talked about like the boulder analogy, where it feels like as an activist, I'm standing in front of a fucking boulder that
Mm-hmm.
is 50,000 times my weight, and I'm just trying to fucking push it, and it
Mm-hmm.
does not give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to me, that boulder is the fucking American politicians and just
Oh,
the
for
fucking
sure.
rich who are
For sure.
controlling the American
For sure.
politicians, right? They're little fucking
Yeah.
puppets.
Yeah.
But it's just like, how long can this last? Like, how long can people be so poor they can't afford food? How long can people not get the medical attention they need? Like, how long can we keep funding on anything? Or keep cutting funding on anything that is actually helping people? Like, our lives are not valuable enough, because we already know that, because so many people are dying every day. I don't know, I really was not expecting to cry today, but it's just like, literally, I don't feel pointless in doing it. That's not at all what I'm trying to say. In fact, it's the fuel that keeps me going.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, at what point will we reach ahead? Like, at what point will things actually start to get better for people instead of worse? And I know, because I take in too much information all the time, and I love reading and I love doing those things, that like, that euphoric feeling comes after the end of a war. It comes after the end of a big conflict, and we are just in the middle of a big conflict. I know they're
Mm-hmm.
not calling it a world war, but it's a world war. But there's
Yeah.
also, since Reagan's presidency, like, that was a turning point for the lower class, like the
Mm-hmm.
working Americans. And what was that, 50 years ago? Like, that's 50 years where we have quite literally been suffering.
Yeah.
And, like, we can tell right now with the people who are in office and the people who are going to be elected, that that's not changing anytime soon.
No.
And then I think about the world that I'm raising my son in. And I don't even know how to explain it to him, because I'm trying to raise a good person in a really bad world. And I don't know. It just, all I see are broken systems that eventually have to change, because things cannot stay broken forever.
No, it's
But
not
also,
sustainable.
yeah, like, how many more people are gonna die? And how many more people are gonna get hurt? And how many more people are gonna get raped and are gonna get, like, just all these horrible things that are happening right now in the whole world.
Yeah.
And it's just like, our voices are not enough. And it doesn't mean I'm gonna stop using mine. Anyone who knows me knows that I'll never shut the fuck up. But I don't know. It's just like really been getting to me, like, about how much. I'm 25, and I feel like since I've even had a comprehension of the world, I've been fighting this battle, which for me was about 16. And in that time, I've seen nothing but regression. Like, it is genuinely, and I know it's because I have not lived long enough. I know in 20 years, in 30 years from now, I'm sure it'll be peaks and lows and everything, and maybe not, because wars can last hundreds of years, right? If you look at history. Maybe I was just born in a really fucking shitty time, I don't know. But I just feel like nothing is, just everything's getting worse. And I want to help people so badly, but I don't know how to help people in a world that's taking away every resource that helps people. Like, I don't know what to do about that when I don't have enough money in my bank account for me to get gas to the end of the fucking week. Like, what else do I do when I'm doing everything? I can't, and I know it's like, right, my therapist would tell me I need to take care of myself, but it's like I
Yeah.
literally don't know how because I'm so worried about everything. And I I can't separate those. That's who I am. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
caring about the world, caring about the issues that are plaguing our world. I don't know how to find that balance. Like, I would really like to find that balance, but I don't know how to find it. Because nothing makes me happy right now. Like, watching a YouTube video about something I love does not make me happy. Because I cannot love it when I'm so worried about all the people who are hurt, who are hurting, who are getting hurt.
Yeah.
And nothing feels enjoyable when you know that it's happening like right now everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people would say to be selfish, but that's just like really not in my character.
No.
God, I really was not expecting to like break down today. Holy fucking shit. I don't know.
No, I know, I get it 100% because it's like it just feels like everything is crumbling around us, right? Like we live in late stage capitalism, the grand old USA. So everybody is suffering unless you're really part of like the freaking 1%, right? And um just the way that we're living, the way the society is run, it's not sustainable. Like we cannot keep going the way we're going. It's just not feasible. um but um the shitty thing about living in capitalism, under capitalism or whatever, um is that you have to make money, right? You have to spend all of your time. We've created for ourselves a society where if you aren't working as much as you can, what are you doing, right? We're expected to work and work and work and work 40, 50 hours a week to be able to keep up with the things that we need to keep up with. And it used to be people were overworking themselves because they wanted to like keep up with the Joneses, right? They needed all the new things. They needed all the new things, all of the bigger house, the bigger car, all of that. And now you have to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week just to be able to afford food and electricity and rent and all of that. And that's what I mean to say it's not sustainable. Like it's not going to be around for a whole lot longer in the grand scheme of things. But while we're doing that, it doesn't leave us time to do the things that we know we need to do to change the system. And it's designed that way. Like you say, the systems are broken, but they're not broken really. They're running the way they're supposed to run. But the way they're supposed to run does not benefit anybody but the higher class, the 1%, the billionaires and the millionaires and shit like that. Like that's who these systems are designed to benefit. The way the systems in the United States and in a lot of other countries aren't designed to benefit the majority of the people. They're designed to keep the people undereducated, underpaid, overworked, sick, and because all of those types of people are easier to control.
Yeah, I know. It is infuriating.
So you just, yeah, no, I kind of step a toe into the conspiracy theory, you know, pond there, but I do believe it. I believe, like, literally, like,
oh, I absolutely. There was a president who literally said that they want working bodies. That's what America wants is working bodies.
I think it's the Speaker of the House. They need women to not have access to abortion. Basically, essentially, is what they said, so that women can give birth to more laborers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they're not unaware of what they're doing.
No, not at all. They're very much aware.
Yeah, and I think that's why TikTok for so long has been one of their biggest fears, because I do think we're seeing the most like
Mm-hmm.
mass awakening of people realizing this.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I feel like it's just so upsetting. Like I don't even know,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm so glad people are learning, because I feel like I've been
Yeah.
kind of aware of this for a hot minute. But there are so many things I learn too on a daily basis, especially about Ronald
Same.
Reagan. I'm so fucking angry about Ronald Reagan. There was one teacher in high school, and he
Welcome
is,
to
of
my
course,
world.
he was a history teacher, and this dude worshipped Ronald Reagan. If you're
Yeah.
watching this, I won't say your name for whatever reasons. But anyway, I think you're a trash human being. I think your love for Ronald Reagan tells me everything I need to know about you. And I also think you're
Everything.
incredibly stupid and a cult follower. Just like Trump supporters. I'm sorry. I will say that too. And I don't care if you're a Trump supporter and you're just like, I don't know how to put it, because they're the Trump supporters who fall into the category of extremely uneducated, and that's why they
Yeah.
like Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people I have the most grace for. Like, those are literally the ones that I have the absolute most grace for. And so those used to be the ones I used to be the most mad at. And I don't know where the switch flipped, other than like the people who are educated. Well, I think what it is because the people who are educated and want Trump to win want him to win for all the horrible reasons,
Yeah.
and the uneducated ones are just kind of in a cult. And they don't even
Yeah.
fully recognize that either. And all this is not to say I don't fucking hate Biden too. I hate
Oh,
Biden too.
yeah.
I hate that I
Fuck
can't say I
Joe
fucking
Biden.
hate Trump without people being like, "Oh, you support Biden?" No, like that old ass fucker. Like, no, I hate them. I hate our government structure. I hate the two party. All the burps. Sorry, the two party system. Go, Tiffany.
This is the conversation that you and I have been having since October, right?
Yes.
This conversation is the one that we've been having because the two-party system here in the United States is what is fucking us up. Okay,
So
in
bad.
a large part because
And no age limits.
yeah, no age limits. um, on the leaving end, right? Because you have to be like 35, but there's no age cap,
Yeah.
right? And um, so after everything that happened in Gaza and all of that shit that started, and being denying the ceasefires like over and over and over and over and over again, and refusing to stop sending aid and shit like that. We were both like, we need to figure out, how do we change this shit? And it's hard. It's hard because it is almost impossible to elect somebody who is not either a Republican or a Democrat because of the way the Electoral College works.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which is also corrupt.
so corrupt. And
Every system goes back to it is broken but operating exactly how it's intended.
yeah, 100%.
Uh-huh.
And so I for a while I went down this whole wormhole of information, a black hole of information about how politics works and how the elections work, and with primaries and electoral college and all of that shit. And it's just really extremely fucked up. If you don't know how the electoral college works, look it up, because it's like, okay, so when you're in high school and they explain it to you, you're like, each state has so many electoral votes because
Population. Based
population
on
and stuff like that.
population.
Yeah,
Of these
and
imaginary drawn up districts.
right, and so they don't, as far as I remember, didn't really go into like really in-depth explanations to how exactly it works. But when you look it up, it's like, yeah, each state has their own like a set number of electoral votes. They have at least 3, but some of them have more depending on the population, right? And so the way I understood it is they take the popular vote. Whoever won the popular vote got the electoral votes for that state. Yeah.
Are we still talking about the primaries?
We're just talking about the electoral college in general. The primaries
Oh.
happened in March, I think, or maybe are still happening.
No, they definitely happened in March. I'm more
Yeah.
so I'm gonna take it back to the moment I completely lost hope on all
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
politicians, which is back in 2016 with Hillary and Bernie Sanders in the Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make it very clear that I in fourth grade figured out with my teacher's help that I was going to get to vote by 2 days, because I was born in 1998 and
Uh-huh.
my birthday is November 5th. And
Uh-huh.
so in 2016, we voted on November 3rd, and I had waited. I had done my waiting, 8 years of it.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
And I was so excited. And I loved Bernie. Uh, he's let me down in other ways since, but
Yeah.
whatever. He can't idolize anyone.
Nope.
Um,
And I think that's to
but
show you why you shouldn't idolize politicians, just to
yeah, at
interject.
all.
Yeah.
But I remember he did a whole campaign at U of I, UICU,
Mm-hmm.
and we camped out. We went to it. It was amazing. And then I just watched a TikTok actually recently going over it because I have horrible memory and I can't remember exactly what happened. But all I know is that the literal like Democratic Party did some shady fucking shit against votes and
Mm-hmm.
um to put Hillary up against
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I remember not being able to comprehend how they were just so willing to
Mm-hmm.
illegally go about something and how it didn't cause more outrage, right? So
Mm-hmm.
from the jump, my first experience as a now adult citizen was to be jasted by the Democratic Party. And then for that fucking election, let alone to come down to Hillary fucking Clinton and Donald Trump, um, I was not a Hillary Clinton
Mm-hmm.
fan. I did not want my first lady president to be Hillary Clinton. I'm sorry, it goes back to the
Mm-hmm.
corrupt people. I
Yeah.
recently just learned how corrupt she was. Well, at the time, recently learned how corrupt
Yeah.
she was, and I
Yeah.
was like, why the
Uh-huh.
fuck would I want this person leading the fucking country?
Uh-huh.
But also, why the fuck would I want rapist, racist Trump leading the country either?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sorry, I'm not gonna forget those two fucking things. People just love to leave those two fucking describing words off of Trump.
Yeah.
He's a racist. He is a rapist. When you tell me you support Trump, I now align you with those two values because you're
Yeah.
willing to overlook them in a
Mm-hmm.
person, and I am not.
Mm-hmm.
And um I think that's a damn shame. And you should really check your fucking privilege if you're willing to overlook both of those things.
Uh-huh.
And let alone look over them, but worship him.
Yeah.
You, Loki, make me repulsed a little bit only because you lack values. Like, that's what it comes down to, is you lack
Yeah.
values.
Uh-huh.
And this is why I just really hate that this election is what it is because
Yeah.
I
Same.
hate them both so much. I hate them, and I hate that we're being boxed into. Did you see recently Hillary Clinton had an interview where she said get over it
Uh-huh.
with Jimmy Fallon?
I don't remember, but
I
yeah.
think it was Jimmy Fallon. Because he brought up, he was like, there are a lot of Americans who are upset that these are our two candidates, and she said, get over it. All
Mm-hmm.
right, Clinton, go fucking die. If you want my honest fucking opinion, I wish all these, I've been praying for heart attacks literally since 8 years ago. 8 years ago, I'm like, why can't these old fuckers just fucking bend over? Like, why? The hatred in their hearts, make them live longer.
And
I
you get a heart
swear to
attack.
God.
You get a heart attack. No, I know. I know. It's crazy, but it's so hard to get a third party on the ballot. Well, you can get them on the ballot, but it's hard to get them
No, it's because
electoral votes.
they have billions of dollars fighting against them.
Uh-huh.
I
think
think
the only
Kennedy
other
has the best bet because he has the name. If you want the honest truth, I think that's why he is ranking the highest in young voters
Um,
is.
so maybe, yeah, but the only reason I hesitate to say anything about that is it goes back to the electoral votes, because the only other party that's managed to get votes on the ballot, the electoral votes on the ballot, is the Green Party, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So even
Who's running for the Green Party? I'm sorry, I'm
Jill
so out of
Stein,
touch
I think.
because
Jill
who?
Stein. Jill Stein.
Oh, she's running again. This is her running again too, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. To be honest with you, I kind of just stopped looking things up like a month or so ago, because it's just so depressing. Like, it's and overwhelming, because it's like um it just sort of feels like there's nothing we can do. Everything that we do, it's like nothing matters. Like, I sorry, I just blanked out. Um
I just think November will suck no matter what.
100%. Sorry, I was trying to look up the.
I think until we have something other than a two-party system and a ruling, like, right? I don't think it should be two parties and the House has one majority and the whatever has the other majority. I think, right? If you want to talk, I think there should be like at least 15 parties in there, and then they really have to fucking work to like come to like an agreement. Like, they're
I
we're all
think.
so different with different values, and I have never ever one of my old bosses was super super fucking conservative, and he was actually
Mhm.
one of the people I got along with the most because we could have really really detailed discussions about it, because we were two people who liked to talk about it, and we were also two people who went in like respecting each other. You know, it was never ever ever in the way I felt about Republicans is the way he felt about Democrats, even though I would correct him all
Mhm.
the time. I'm like, I'm not a fucking Democrat. Stop putting me in that category. And then he'd be like, oh, that's why you're pleasant. No, but it was like a running joke.
Yeah.
Um, but like, it goes back to that, like, the issue is not conservative versus liberal. It's not red versus blue. It's a lack of representation for
Yeah.
a plentiful amount of people. There's billions of us, and we're being told we fit in one or fit in the other when two are the exact fucking same. They're the same.
Oh,
They're
they're
like
so much
looking
the
in a
same.
fucking mirror,
They're exactly the
and
same.
that's why there's so many of us who are like, we don't like this. We don't
Yeah.
like this
No.
anymore. And there's always been
I.
a lot of people who have said that. That's always existed, but it's more than ever before.
Mhm. And the problem I think that you run into, where, because there's this disconnect, right? Because, like you said, there's not an age limit, so we have sitting senators and representatives that have been representatives and senators and whatever for years, and they're in their 70s and 80s, and there's obviously a disconnect.
Decrepit.
Huh?
Decrepit.
Oh, yes, decrepit. um
Sorry.
Obviously this disconnect between these men and women, but mostly men, that have, they come from money. Their families were well off. They probably bought their way into fucking politics in the first place. Um, and they're paid off by the lobbyists, who have the most money. And you're talking about tobacco, you're talking about big pharma, fucking NRA, all of that shit. And they just have no sense of what it's like to be an actual living person, normal, non-billionaire person, billionaire person, whatever, in the United States. Yeah.
Two things that just. And there's so many more that I probably don't know, because if I found out, I'd just be enraged for another week about them. But I want to touch on lobbying because I think it's one of the most um dehumanizing, illegal, what should be
Yeah.
illegal acts in this country. All the time we hear people talk about, why don't we have high speed trains? Why don't we? There's so many countries that have them. They're
Mm-hmm.
amazing, they're economical, they're good for the world. You want to know why? Because the airline lobbies the
Yeah.
government to not allow that to happen because they're
Mm-hmm.
making so much money from your
Mm-hmm.
planes. Another one, maternity leave. You know, one of the highest lobbyers? Formula companies. Because
Mm-hmm.
they make so much money by
Mm-hmm.
us mothers having to go back to work because
Mm-hmm.
stress, work, not being near your baby, all those things clogs up your supply. You cannot produce as much. Your
Mm-hmm.
baby needs to supplement. You know how much money they
Yep.
fucking make by you
Uh-huh.
having to supplement with formula?
Yeah.
It's enraging because those are the two that came to the top of my head, but there are hundreds of them. When we're always like, why is it this way? Why is it this way? There's so many easy solutions. Lobbying, the rich, paying off our politicians, our puppeteer politicians, the people who are elected to operate on the behalf of citizens are just being paid off through lobbying. It enrages me. I'm going to let you speak now, Tiffany.
Can we talk about the formula thing for a second? Because I 100% believe that's accurate. I'm sure you've done the research and like I've never heard of it before, but you're on the one hand, these people are lobbying because they make so much money off of formula or whatever, and then they can't even keep up with production because remember when there was that huge formula, you couldn't find formula anywhere.
Even just a year ago, I know a mom a year ago whose kid had to be on a special formula and she could not find it
Yeah.
anywhere. I
Um.
can't imagine. I can't imagine the
Yes.
panic that
Yeah.
ensues.
Yeah. And the second thing that I wanted to say was just that we always forget. We hold politicians in these like not quite pedestals, but it's like, oh, they're a politician, they're above us, whatever in this hierarchy of things.
They
But
work for us.
they work for us.
Mm.
That is something that we forget because they let us forget. They don't talk about it. Your politicians work for you, right? The
It's our
president of the
tax
United
money.
States, the president of the United States works for us. That is their whole
We the
thing.
people, by the
By the
people,
people,
for the
for the
people.
people, right?
Eagle, caw! And if you get that reference, me and you would be best friends.
Do you know? Here's a fun fact. Whenever they make use the sound effects or whatever, and the eagle sound, it's not actually an eagle. It's like a turkey vulture, turkey or something like. I think it's a turkey vulture or something like that. An actual eagle doesn't sound anything like what you think it sounds like.
Look at Lily. She's like, why won't my mom let me out? My mom's ignoring me. She would
But
stand at that door and whine. If I let her out, that's what she would do. Oh,
yeah,
look, now
that's what
she's happy.
Gotti
She
does
said,
too.
pet my butt. Pet my butt.
But yeah, no, that people they don't think about that because there is a perceived hierarchy and politicians are above normal people. And
I'd
it's
punch a
not.
politician if I seen him in a bar.
There's a
I'd do
few.
it.
I mean, well, a couple of them come right off the top of my head. I don't know if I should say it out loud. But there's a few that I'd be like, step, let's go.
Mm-hmm. I think all of them. Well, except the what was it, 5 or 6 who stood up after everything in Gaza? Those ones I'd keep. I like those ones.
There's
maybe it was 7. It was incredibly low.
Incredibly low. There's a couple, yeah, that there's a few on there now that would not have been on there a year ago.
Oh, same. I'm gonna mispronounce her first name. Alexandria,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
AOC.
That's the bitch I want to fight. Yeah, mostly because I was so excited for her. I was so fucking excited. I was so fucking pumped. And she just fucking got like syringed with the blue pill. I don't even fucking know. Like, She is the one that I am the most angry at because she's the one I was the most excited about.
It's one of those things where like people are like, oh, they're gonna change it from the inside. You can't change it from the inside.
No,
You
you
can't
can't.
change
The
it from the
whole
inside.
inside is rotted.
Yeah. You get on the inside and you're tainted. Like,
you're rotted.
Yeah. Yeah. Then that's exactly what happened. It's
I know.
exactly what happened. And
It's sad, but I want to punch her in a bar. Go back to your roots, bitch. Rethink.
Oh man. Politics are crazy, bro. Politicians are fucking crazy. And they are just getting more and more outrageous as time goes on. It's like Trump set such a bad precedent for the way a politician should act, right? And it's just like snowballed, and it's encompassed like the entirety of our administration, and not just presidentially, like throughout the entire government. People have lost their collective fucking minds. Like, I see actual literal senators and representatives responding to their constituents on X and the way that they speak to people. And I'm like, do you forget who you work for? Like, these people voted you in.
What's the fucking Jill, the blonde bitch, the blonde Trump,
Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG.
Yeah. Why did I say Jill? That's exactly who I'm fucking talking about. Why? My only question is why.
That woman is like, I was gonna say a couple cards short of a full deck, but I'm pretty sure she's missing like half.
Yeah, like how are we continuously electing people who like quite literally could not write a full sentence without autocorrect?
On another note, how do we elect people who can't even say the words that the Civil War was fought over slavery? Who was that? Was that Nikki Haley? Pretty sure it was Nikki Haley. His real name is Nikki Haley, by the way.
Indian woman who's trying to white pass her way through Congress, which it's working actually. Which is also disgusting.
So disgusting.
It's so gross. It's literally
I can't even like the American government is the laughing stock of the entire world right now. And it should be. Like
it should be, because we sat up on our high horse that we never should have ever been on, and then we became a fucking joke, and systems have been crumbling ever since. And you wanna know why? Technology. And I think that's amazing, because technology is also the reason how America kind of like was like, we're the greatest of the greats, right? Because of the factories, and because of all the work, and because of all the things. And as technology kept advancing, and we're now at a point where that same technology that helped get America to where it was is now its fucking demise. And I think that's fucking amazing, because America is fucking embarrassing. I spent my whole life being told I was being raised in such a great country. All other countries fucking suck. And then I left the country and was like, oh my god. Like they're literally just lying. And then things just kept getting worse.
Yeah.
Like worse. And I'm like, this is what you want me to be proud of? This is...
No. Sorry.
I'm not proud. I hate it here. And to the people who are like, then go somewhere else, bitch, I fucking would. I would.
If I could afford to, I would be gone.
I don't want to be here. I'm embarrassed to be an American. I am embarrassed of the things we have done to other people.
Oh my god.
I am ashamed of our actions. And you know what? I think that makes me more American than the people who just accept the reality for what it is. Because the reason I feel those feelings is because I do wish my country was better. I do wish that we didn't do the things that we have done and then the things that we are doing now. I think that makes me far more patriotic than the people 100%. Who accept what the fuck is happening right now. I think y'all are actually just uneducated. And that's sad.
Oh, yes. And that's the way it's meant to be. It's the way it's meant to be. That's why we don't have accurate history. So we don't portray ourselves accurately when we're learning about history, world history, American history, whatever. And that, sorry, I keep having these brain freezes. And I'm like, I know what I want to say. And there's so many things rolling around in my head. And I'm like, I can't get them out fast enough. But that is exactly what the government wants. That's why they, our fucking educational system is set up the way it's set up. And our work, like the way we have to work, is set up the way it's set up. Because like I said, they want us uneducated, they want us tired, they want us sick. Because those people are not going to have the energy.
At their wits' end, like me.
Yeah. And then they have those people that they give breadcrumbs to, and that they like, oh, you are slightly better than this other group of people. And then that group of people is like, oh, this government isn't bad. You just don't know. You just aren't working hard enough. You just aren't doing this. I pulled myself up by my bootstraps.
Class warfare is the reason we don't focus on the real fucking problem.
100%.
And they want it that way.
Yes. Divided.
The war on drugs. The war on drugs. God. You know who started the war on drugs?
Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
Yep.
You don't hate the ghetto neighborhoods because of all the drugs. You fucking hate what you've been conditioned to hate, which is also sad that you can't recognize that maybe hatred was taught. It was never natural. Mm-hmm. It goes so fucking deep. It runs so deep. The corruption runs so deep. The disparity runs so deep. The problems run so deep. And all I can do is sometimes I'll just sit there and dream of like a world 200 years from now, 300 years from now. I would love it to happen in my lifetime, but I'm well aware enough that it won't. But where, like, I think about kids in school learning about how America used to run and kids questioning why it was like that because it doesn't make any sense, because that was the kind of kid I was, right? Whenever we learned about slavery, I was like, why? Like, like, why did they do it like that? That doesn't make any sense. And so I think I just dream of that, of like a little kid learning about how things are now, and because things are so vastly different and there is no more fairness and there is more care and love and compassion and safety in the world, that they can't understand why the world was so cruel at a time. Like, I just dream about it because that's like the only thing left in my mind, is dreaming about a little kid who is not hurt, whose world around them is not painful, and who isn't growing up hearing Biden, Trump.
Right? The lesser of two evils. Like, fuck you. We shouldn't be choosing the lesser of two evils. There should be no evil running for president.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, what?
I don't know. I feel like we should wrap up this episode. Because I know me and you can keep going on this tangent.
Oh, yeah, because I was about to go on a tangent about the relationship between the war on drugs and it's a whole black hole, about a wormhole, about rabbit hole, whatever. It's a hole about why they did what they did as far as introducing crack into black neighborhoods. But that would take probably 3 whole episodes, because I can get pretty fucking worked up about stuff. So we'll just end it there. Once
something takes off, Tiff, we can do, like, we can start our own separate podcast so we can talk about these things too, because I'm telling you, I can talk a lot about a lot of things, so I really feel like I am doing the right thing. Because it allows me to talk a lot. Yes. It's just not financially supporting me yet, meaning I cannot invest more into it than I already do.
Uh-huh.
I was like also looking at it yesterday just with my credit hours. I don't think I'll graduate next year, which is perfectly fine because I was already going to have to push myself to graduate next
Uh-huh.
year. Except I'm not really in the mindset of I frankly I just don't want to take 6 to 7 classes. I don't want to do that per semester. In fact, I won't do that to myself. So I will probably technically be done by next December, but I'll have to
Uh-huh.
wait to actually graduate until spring to like walk the
Mm-hmm.
stage. But at that point, I think I'll go into my master's. It's really just dependent on what my life looks like.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have so many dreams and so many things I want to do, and I'm working my ass off to network. I actually am going to the Capitol next Tuesday to speak to legislators.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just something to do with the Women's Center. As soon as
Uh-huh.
somebody, like my boss's boss, sent out the message, like, hey, does anybody want to go to this? And I read it, I said, me, absolutely, I want to fucking go to
Pick
that.
me.
I
Choose
want to
me.
know why. Love me. I want to know why things are going the way they are. I'm not gonna be. There are moments in my life where I really felt like that version of Meredith Grey, and every time it makes me so sad. um.
So anyway, you're going to the Capitol.
Yes, I'm going to the Capitol. Um. I'll be able to talk about it more next week. It is on Tuesday, so I don't know if we were supposed to film on Tuesday, but we won't be filming on Tuesday. I thought we could try to work it out maybe next weekend if we can to see if Gigi could get it on, but
Yeah. This coming Tuesday wouldn't have worked for me because we have the girls. And
see, this
Tuesdays,
wouldn't have been a filming week anyway
yeah.
then, because we do
Mm-hmm.
have it structured that way.
Yeah.
So maybe Sunday is supposed to be a film day anyway. I don't because of
Yeah.
everything the last couple weeks, my calendar
Mm-hmm.
has not even been looked at. I haven't fucking done anything, but I need
Girl, I
to.
filled out the first week of April in my planner, and that is all I've done. Actually,
I
the
I
first
did
day in April.
January.
I did the first day in April because I got an undated planner. And when that day didn't happen the way I had it written down, I was like, you know what? We're not going to do this right now.
Oh
I was
man, I
like,
wrote out my goals. I wrote out my goals with like dates to get them done. I'm scared to look
oh
at
no,
them.
I kind of filled out the first week, but I only went in depth on like the first day.
You
So
know what?
anyway,
I've actually been reaching my goals because I put up to launch our first podcast episode as March 1st, and we started doing that in January, I think. Um, Possibly February, but we were planning in January for sure.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I reached that goal. My goal for financial gain slash independence was for September 1st. That one's looking a little rocky. Um, Connect mind, body, and soul. It's actually more disconnected than ever, but I think that's kind of okay. it's it's not because I want it to be. It's just been a little rough.
Yeah.
Um Feeling healthy, body plus lung improve. I also started smoking cigarettes again this last week.
Natalie.
It was bad. Not the cigarettes, the week.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
And I've actually been very graceful with myself where I've told myself, you're not going to make yourself feel bad about this
No,
one.
you're right.
I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to feel bad because it goes hand in hand with the not running. So, like, right, I feel like
Yeah.
I've completely regressed backwards. So now I'm
Yeah.
like, I need to just get off the fucking horse and start again. Like, start again.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe I don't know, Tiff. We really need to like do that call and like actually sit down and do this. And I so badly want to plan out. Sorry, I'm going to end this episode and then just talk to you for a
Yeah.
minute. So that's it for episode 8 of the Talk About Traumatized podcast. You can come back next week. You have no idea what you're gonna get. This one was a political episode.
We
kind
never know
of.
what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I literally could not cry in therapy this week, so I was not expecting to cry today. In fact, I struggle crying, which is probably why I'm breaking down at random points because I cannot get a fucking handle on my mind, body, or soul right
Yeah.
now. We need to do some grounding exercises. Probably won't do them right now. I might
No.
insert a clip here. But to be fair, I will say, actually, just as a side note for anyone listening right now, my favorite grounding exercise lately has been nothing but physical. When I say I like to go outside and genuinely just put my feet on the
Yeah.
fucking earth, take the
Mm-hmm.
shoes off, take the socks off. Anytime I'm feeling completely overwhelmed by
Mm-hmm.
any sort of emotion or don't feel anything at all,
Mm-hmm.
go put your fucking feet in the grass and feel it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
be
Mm-hmm.
intentional about feeling the fucking earth underneath your feet. That's my advice for grounding today. Go outside, take your shoes off, and put your fucking feet on the ground and feel it.
Feel the dirt
You,
between your toes.
you'll feel better. And if you're really fucking breaking down, dig your fucking fingers into the ground. Like,
Yep.
I know we say grounding exercise as like a mental thing, but it can be just as physical.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with everything going on lately, I've needed physical grounding exercises. And that is my advice to anyone listening at this point. Go put your fucking feet in the earth and dig your fucking fingers into that bitch, because she is beautiful, she is gorgeous, and she brings stability all
Yep.
the time. We love her. Um
We do.
so sorry if you don't like political rants. I do sometimes. Um Next week we'll be back. We probably won't be on a political rant. Gigi and Reese tend to level me and Tiff out on that
On the
aspect.
politics side, yeah.
Yeah, it was bound to happen one of these days where
Yeah.
it was just the two of us. Today just happened to be that day. Um and yeah, we'll be back next week. Sorry there wasn't an episode last week. I'm not that sorry, but
Sorry, not sorry.
yeah, sorry, not sorry.
You know
There
what?
was just too
Sometimes
much shit happening.
our mental health is more important than trying to make sure that this is happening. And while we
Yeah.
would love to have an episode every single week and be that consistent, it's not always going to happen. And while we are sorry, we're not sorry.
Yeah, and once we are at a point of like actually making money from this, hopefully, or things like that, where we
Yeah.
have more help or have things like
Yeah.
that, it can happen, because then we can get ahead.
Yeah.
But we haven't been able to do that. I'm taking classes, I'm working, I'm a mom. I got shit going on. I
Mm-hmm.
am doing the best I can, and my best is kind of fucking awesome anyway, so suck it. I'm just kidding. If you're listening, I love you, and you're not the ones who need to suck it. It's the people who suck that need to
Suck it, suckers.
suck it, suckers. I think at that point I'm hitting the like
Stop recording button.
yeah, I'm gonna hit the stop recording button. We love you. Stay happy, stay healthy,
Love
stay healing.
you.
We'll see you next week. Bye.